And it's official, we are on air. Thanks for joining us. My name's Jenn Sheffer. I am the Instructional Technology Specialist at Burlington High School in Burlington, Massachusetts. I'm also the Google Educator Group leader for the state of Massachusetts, and one of my responsibilities is to coordinate virtual events. So I figured the first event would be focusing on Google Classroom because we're all excited about it. It's something a lot of people are curious to learn more about, and I figured what better way than to kick off the first season, if you will, of the Massachusetts GEG. So I reached out to some of my panelists here that I will let them introduce themselves to you, and we'll talk about what the goal of this call will be. So I'll start off with my good friend and colleague, Jenn.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be able to share some stuff about Google Classroom with you today. My name is Jenn Judkins. I'm the District Technology Integration Specialist with Lynnfield Public Schools, and I'm also a certified Google Education Trainer.
Thank you so much, Jenn, for being here. I really appreciate it. And next up is Jonathan.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Schmidt. I'm a Google Education Trainer. I'm also the Director of Innovation and Technology at the Meadowbrook School of Weston. And I'm happy to be playing the student role today as we go through Classroom.
Awesome. And Alexandria.
Hi, my name is Alexandria Salucci, and I am an 8th grade middle school science teacher in the Lynnfield Public Schools. I've worked with Jenn over the past year as we've gone to a GAFE district, and I get to be the experimental student as well, so I've loved having a sneak peek into Google Classroom. It's been great.
It sure has. So if you're just joining us now, what the goal of today's call is to show sort of a live demo from the teacher and the student side of Google Classroom. So we all have been Jenn has created accounts for us as students, and Jonathan and Alexandria are going to show you from their side what it looks like, and Jenn's going to show you from her side what it looks like. So we're going to get right to it because I know people want to see it. Keeping in mind, though, that it is in beta still, and we're really here to talk about what it can do and a lot of the features that it has to offer and why we're excited about using it. So the first thing we're going to start off by showing is Jenn is actually going to show us how to create a new class and how to customize it. So she's going to share her screen and show us how that works.
All right, so Jenn, is my screen up for everyone?
It is now, yep.
Excellent. So I'm here in the teacher view. When teachers are actually accessing Classroom, they would go to classroom.google.com. It does have to be enabled on their district domain by their domain administrator. And what I'm going to do here is first show you how you create an account, a new class. So these are my existing classes. We'll come back to those in a moment. And to add a new class, I'm going to hit this plus button here in the top right-hand corner, and I'm going to create a class. And I'm going to create maybe I'm going to do a professional development class. And I can do my section. And I'm going to choose Create. And what will happen is it's going to create that class with right here it has a background image that I can customize. So if I wanted to change this photo to maybe be a little bit more associated with the topic that I'm choosing, on the bottom right corner here at the image banner, I can click this to change the photo. Currently in the beta you have only the option of adding photos from the gallery, but there's actually a lot of nice choices, so you can pick something from here. And so I'm going to choose this image for my course. When you come in first to the class, you'll notice that there's what's called the stream in the center. This is where you would post assignments, and you can also have a class discussion. We're going to try that out in a moment. As far as getting students to join your class, there's two options for you. You can share. Yep.
I was going to say real quick, I noticed on your screen there's that little gray Start Tour button. Would you mind just quickly demonstrating that? It's really fast, this tour.
Right. So it's just gonna step you through the different aspects of the screen. Good call, Jenn.
After you do that, once if you choose to manually enter all your students, you'll be prompted to save that as a group if you'd like to, right from within that screen, which is really convenient. So you could save it as your period 2 class or whatever, and then you can just move on from there.
Right, and as Jen's pointing out, it's saving it that way because it's fully integrated with Gmail and the contacts portion of Gmail. So if you're familiar with Gmail and contacts, it'll have a very similar kind of interface to that when you're making that group. So the easiest thing to do would be to have students join by class code. So Alex and Jonathan, maybe you can enter this class code on your end in a minute. So it is case sensitive, and I think what I might do is switch back over. You'll notice there's this is my classes on the side here. So the top left-hand corner allows me to navigate to my different classes. Oops, sorry. Let me go back.
I'm just going to throw in as much information as I can. If you're a one-to-one iPad school like Burlington is, and you're also using Google Apps for Education, I have been playing with Classroom on the iPad. The emailing feature does not work currently on the iPad. So just an FYI, hopefully come August when it's released, that will be corrected and you will be able to use the email integration from the iPad, but currently you cannot.
Okay. So
unless I'm missing something. Full disclosure, we're not classroom experts too.
we're just a bunch of teachers kicking the tires, so we're doing the best we can and
playing around.
So when you get back to your dashboard, you'll notice that I have tiles for each of my classes. And if I want to go into the classes, I would simply click on the tile with the name of the class. And it gives for me, again, that stream in the center, which is where I would add assignments and where students could contribute to discussion. That class code information is available to you at all times over here on the left, so as new students come into your class, you'll be able to give them that class code. They only need that join code the very first time, and what's really nice, and Jonathan will show it to you in a minute, is that once the students associate themselves with your class, when they log into Classroom in the future, they would have your class as one of the tile icons, available to them. They would have one for each of their classes. So,
well, Jen, could you just show how you can either reset or disable the code, the class code?
So if you hit this drop down, you'll notice there's an ability to disable or reset the code. You may want to do this, for example, if you had all the kids sign up and you don't want to have anyone else accidentally coming into your class after the first week of school, but then you may need to turn it back on in the event that a new student joins your class. So you can do that, but it doesn't automatically disable after a certain amount of time, unlike some other LMS systems. They will do that automatically. Right now, from what I can tell, it just stays on until you disable it. All right, so what do you think? You guys want to see how Jen, do you think it makes sense now to show how we would add an assignment and an announcement, how to add to the stream?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so these are existing assignments here, but let me show you how you would add a new assignment. Right at the top here, I can share with my class an announcement or assignment. So right now, this is an announcement, so maybe I'm going to say, reminder, extra help is available on Monday after school. And then I would just post that, and it would become it would show up at the very top of the stream so that it's the first thing that kids would see. Now, kids can respond to this, and Jonathan will demonstrate that, and Alex can show you as well. They can add a comment here in response. They could reply here to this, and it would stick right below this announcement, so it'd be associated with this announcement. But
Jen,
yeah.
I was just going to say, for viewers, we do have the Q&A app enabled, and I just want to jump in because we have a question here that
great.
It connects to this topic here of communicating with students and emailing, and I know if it were me, I'd want them to answer my question as quickly as possible. So Stephen wants to know how we think this will work with elementary students who have Google Apps but don't have email enabled.
Right. So I think that my sense is that this is a good option for elementary students because you don't need the email enabled in order to have them read and see the discussion stream.
Exactly.
I've used Edmodo extensively with kids and have used it in with elementary students, and certainly they require some extra support, but it has, I'm not going to go as far as to say it has all the same features as Edmodo. Again, it's in a beta stage, and it's you know, it's you know, continuing to improve over time, but it has a very similar kind of middle discussion stream that's chronological, and so I think you'll find that it could definitely work. There's no, you don't have to have email to do this. You don't have to have email enabled at all for this to work.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to say. So hopefully that that will encourage a lot of people without email to use it. So.
Yeah, and thank you for because I can't see in my screen share, I can't see the Q&A, so feel free to interrupt as we can answer questions as we go. That makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
So here in the, just to point out, if I were to need to make a change or a correction to the announcement that I posted, there's the 3 little dots here on the right corner of my announcement I can click, and I have a choice to delete my message or edit my message. So you can change your messages at any point. You can also delete student responses the same way. So you are able to delete a student response if for some reason you don't want it on the discussion stream. So in terms of the assignments, let's get to that because that's the really important thing about Classroom. I'm going to choose assignment here at the top, and I'm going to title the assignment. Let me think. I'm going to have to grab one. So
I'm going to just jump in. Hi, Wendy. I just got a question from my colleague, Wendy Cotta. Her question is, can students join Classroom who are not in your domain? And correct me if I'm wrong, the answer is no. They have to be in the same domain, and that's correct, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, that is correct, and I don't know if that might be something that would change, but at this point, given that it has to be enabled on the domain side, I don't think that that's going to change. But yes, you're absolutely right. At this point, they have to be. This is only going to work for schools that are Google Apps districts.
Right, and we were all excited when we received it. Some of us were receiving invitations, and we were saying, "Oh, you can join my class." And then I quickly realized, no, you can't, because you're not in the Burlington domain. So we're kind of you know, figuring out some workarounds, and we're doing that with Jenn's teacher training account.
So okay, so if I put in the title of the assignment, and then I can put some specific instructions to students, I can adjust the due date, so I can make this due on Wednesday. I can add a time of day. It defaults to 11:59 p.m., the end of the full day, but you can change that. And then I'm going to actually add the document. So I'm going to use the paperclip to add, oh, actually, in this case, I'm going to get it right from Drive. So I could use a paperclip to attach a file if it's a file on my desktop, but I am all about Google Drive, and all my stuff is there. So I'm going to attach a Google Drive item. I put my resources in here, and maybe I'm going to grab this right here, this worksheet, and I'll do this one. Okay, and then I'm going to add it. Now, this is what's really exciting about Classroom. I've added this Google Doc, and you'll notice on the right-hand side here, I have a toggle that I can choose my different options. So students can view the file, that's the default, but I'm actually going to make it so that students can it makes a copy for each student. So I wouldn't recommend this one that students can edit the file unless you want all of the kids editing the file simultaneously. This is a single file, this middle choice. They'd all be editing the same file. So this might be great if you're working on collecting data for a lab in class and everyone's adding to the data table. That would be a good option. But in this case, all of the kids are doing their own work and they need their own copy. So I'm going to choose make a copy for each student. And now that I've finished this, I'm going to hit assign. And what it's doing now is it's actually making a copy for each student and adding it to their drive, and we'll be able to see that on the side that Jonathan has. Before I turn it over to Jonathan so that we can see, are there any other questions, Jen, that I can answer in this view?
No, we have a question from Maureen about having a way to have a homework calendar on the stream, sticky post-it notes, or something along those lines, and she's saying that she uses Google Calendar for homework for the whole class, and that way students and parents can see it. I don't think at this point there's like a homework calendar. It's, you know, if you wanted to put an announcement in the stream, a reminder tonight's homework is, you know, read chapter 2 or whatever the homework is, you could post that in the stream as an announcement. But it doesn't have Google Calendar integration right now. I would, if you're currently using that calendar for everything, for, you know, field trip reminders and all kinds of classroom information, not just assignments, then if it were me, I would continue to use that. Whereas Classroom would be you can set due dates for assignments.
It does give you it does give you an assignment view as a student, but that assignment view is inside of the classroom.
Yeah, it stays inside Classroom. So I'm thinking I'm building a Google site for my classes, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can, you know, put a link to my Classroom on my Google site underneath each one of my classes. You know, click here to access Classroom. I might do that. So at this point, we're going to, Jonathan, do you want to show from your side? Are we ready for that, Jen?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's self-explanatory, the other types of additions. Certainly you can add a link, you can add a YouTube video. Those are just the different buttons to click that we saw. So I think people would love to see the student side, and so...
Sure. Really quick too, Jen, though, could you just show how you could, on your screen, how you could edit the assignment or delete the assignment? I'll just let people know that right now you cannot share an entire folder with students. You can, it's just individual files, and we were tinkering around with this yesterday. You can add another file if you edit the assignment.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even. Okay, so
I think you can. I'm pretty sure that I did that last night. So if you show that,
I edit the assignment. Right now, it's reminding me what I put on there, and that it's set to students will get a copy. And so you think I can add another item, maybe?
If you can, maybe you can't. Just throw something.
Yeah, let me try it. So I'll just put a PDF on there, because I'm not limited to Google files, but you'll notice that when I added a PDF that it's not going to make a copy for each student, so it's going to make it so the students can view the file, which, you know, if they're using something like an iPad with Notability, they might have that. If it's a paper file that I handed out, this gives me a way to make it available electronically for students that might have lost their paper or absent students, so there's still some great value in being able to post it this way. I'm wondering, so I can also add a link in the same, in the same assignment if I wanted to, or a video I could add if I wanted to add a video that was relevant to the, what the homework assignment is about. So yeah, I can change the date here. I can edit any part of this afterwards, and when I save it, it will update it on the student side instantaneously. All right. So I think, let me just switch back out of my screen share. I think it'd be great for Jonathan to show the student side how it looks on that end.
Yes.
Sounds great. So I'll start the screen share here, and hopefully you can see that.
Yeah, we can.
Great. So this is my student view. I'm acting as a student here, and to get to Classroom, I went to classroom.google.com, and these are 2 classes that I've already enrolled in. I'm going to go ahead and enroll in a 3rd class. So to do that as a student, I'll click that plus button, and enter the code that was for the professional development class, which I hopefully jotted down correctly. And now I've joined that class, and I can now be part of that class. If I want to go back to my main view of all my classes, I can click on the 3 lines icon in the top left and go to Home, and I'll see my classes all aligned up here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go into the demo class and show what the student view looks like for both an assignment and the announcements. So here's an announcement that the teacher made to the class, attaching a video which I could watch and go over to the video to view. I can add a comment here as well. And hit post. And now the teacher and the rest of the class will be able to see that comment. I'm going to scroll down and actually I can click on the as a student I can come in and edit a comment or delete a comment if I'd like to later as well. I'm going to come down to the first assignment here, which is a blog post example assignment, and click in that to see the details on the assignment. So as a student, when I come into an assignment, I have a couple of options at the top here. I can click on the Add button and pull down and pick something from my Google Drive, post a link, or upload a file. I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a new document to be my assignment that I turn in for this. So I'm going to go to Create and then Document. And you'll see it creates a new document and gives me the link right here. I'll click on that document link and it'll open up in Drive. And I could enter in my, my blog post here. And you'll notice at the top I have all the standard Google Docs editing features, but I have a third button over here. It allows me to turn in the doc directly from Google Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that in by using that button here. Whenever I turn in an assignment, I get the chance to add a private note that goes directly to the teacher. I'll turn that in. And now as a student, I see that I posted my assignment, I turned it into my teacher, I added a private comments, and I have the ability to unsubmit. So if I decided I wanted to pull the assignment back and make some changes, as long as I'm before the final due date, I could do that here. So I'm going to go back over to the assignment details where I can see the rest here, and I'll go back to the main class by clicking the arrow on the top left. You'll see that the assignment shows with a check mark telling me that I've turned in the assignment. This assignment's due today and has an exclamation telling me that I still need to work on this. So this assignment here, the teacher has handed out a worksheet for the students to use. So I'll click on this worksheet here. One of the great things about it is when the teacher hands out the worksheets, it automatically adds the student name to the end. So the naming convention is nice and easy to follow. And now the student can come in and make their changes to their copy of the document. I'll just put my name on this. And I could use the turn in button here to turn it in. I could also go and turn it in by using the blue turn in button on the screen here. So I'll go ahead and turn this in now. Again, I get the same turn in files view where I can add a private note. And I'll turn that in.
We do have a question about once the due date comes for an assignment, students can still submit, and that is correct. They can still submit after the due date. They'll get a red notification that says it's late. But from the teacher side, you can see what day and time that assignment was turned in. So I can only speak for myself. If students are late, I will accept late work. If they meet the due date and they say, I want to resubmit this to make this better after I've given them feedback, I will say, certainly you can do that. So that becomes sort of a mindset philosophical hangout discussion, which we're not going to do today, but yes, students can still submit after the due date. That was one of the questions. And can teachers add comments to a submitted assignment and give it back for the student to make changes? Yes, they can. They can do that also.
Yeah, and we can show that side if you want to, Jen. You know, later in the call, we can certainly take a look at how the turned-in assignments look on the teacher side if you want to do that.
Yeah, I know I said 5 o'clock, but I'm getting word that this building is being shut and closed at 4:40. So that gives us about that gives us about 14 minutes or so. So I'm going to keep an eye on the time. So we'll just keep that in mind.
So I can go and show 2 more things and keep it quick. The next one here is an About Me slideshow assignment that was given. You can see I've already gotten a grade on this. So when the student goes in, they can see the grade that the teacher's given, and they can see the comment that the teacher has given along as well. The last thing I wanted to show as a student is if I go back to my home, or actually from anywhere, I can use this left-hand side menu to get to a link called Assignments. And this gives me, which is really great for students to keep organized, it shows them all their classes, what the upcoming work that is outstanding that they've not turned in yet, and then also gives them a view of the work that they have turned in. So they can easily track the work that they need to turn in and then what happened, what the communication from the teacher, including the grade, was for the assignments that they did turn in. There's a filter area right here with a little drop-down arrow. I can click on that and I can filter down to just one of my classes, or I can show all the classes. And that works the same for the not turned in area as well. If I had multiple work in many classes, I could filter down just to see the work that I need to turn in a certain class. And that's a student view of Classroom. I think I'll turn it over to maybe Jen to show the teacher view, or to Alex for more student views.
Alex, do you want to show what Drive looks like?
Yeah, I can definitely show that. So let me just put my screen share on.
And as you're going through getting ready, we have a question from Jared. Thanks for watching, Jared. He wants to know how our districts plan to implement Classroom within tools like Edmodo and Schoology and other LMS systems that are in place for teachers. I can just speak for Burlington. This will not be mandated. This will just be another choice that our teachers have. So that's the philosophy in Burlington. My director, Dennis Villano, always says it's much harder for our IT department, but we like to give the teachers choices, so it's not going to replace anything. It'll just be another option for our teachers.
Okay, I'm ready here. Are you guys able to see them?
Yes.
Okay, great. So one of the nice things, actually even before I take you through the drive here, is having signed up for the classes last night on Classroom, it automatically offers you the option, if it's your first time, to take the tour. So that was kind of nice. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go ahead and go through this, and it points everything out like you say. So you can do it every time, but the first time it immediately pops up. One of the things I was curious about is, I've done all the assignments. Do I still get a chance to see them if I'm not in Classroom? And the answer is yes. What it did was it automatically populated my Google Drive by creating a Classroom folder, and then within that a subfolder for the class that I had signed up for, which was the demo class. So if you had 5 classes, 5 folders would appear under this Classroom folder. And you can see here, these were the assignments that I had done. Interestingly, I accidentally created 2 of the same assignment, but only turned in 1. And just by looking at this, I can tell what I've turned in, because while these are 2 of the same, this the owner of it has now turned over to Jen, who's the teacher for the class. So I know this is the one that I submitted to her. So it was kind of a happy accident just to see how that would look actually in Drive. But it is nice that it really does kind of categorize and organize the folders for you. And every time you create an assignment, it's going to populate it in your Drive. So I liked that feature a lot. We've talked about some of our students sometimes being organizationally challenged, but this really kind of takes care of that in a really easy way. So I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm. We have somebody, Marcus is asking if we can continue this demo and show how it works on mobile devices. Unfortunately, we can't during this call, but it looks really nice on the iPad. The email doesn't work currently from an iPad, I know that, but everything else works pretty well at this point. Another point here, maybe you can address this, Jen and Jonathan. Somebody is asking, does the stream end up looking like a mess, sort of like a Tumblr type of timeline? Is there going to be an issue with that?
I actually think it looks it's pretty clean and pretty simple. So I like the layout of it, but it is a list that accumulates over time.
Yeah, but you can delete. If you have a discussion, if you say post a video and you want students to comment on the video and have an online discussion, when that is over, all of those comments can be deleted. I would, and then you can start your discussion over. Start a new discussion, I should say. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, Jen, that we've missed that we can demo.
I was thinking we'd take a look at the grading piece because we haven't shown that yet.
There's a question here about the grading, and
there's a question about it. So I think it might be a good, if you want, I can pull that up and just show how that looks on the teacher side.
You're up.
All right, here we go. So are you seeing my screen okay, Jen?
We will probably right now. Yep, it's all set.
Okay. So I'm in one of the demo classes I set up, and you'll notice on the left-hand side it shows the assignments that are due today, upcoming assignments. So I can click on the assignment name, and that will show me the students in my class, and it will show me the status of that assignment. So you'll notice that that Alex turned hers in, but I haven't graded it yet. However, I did grade Jonathan's. So I can click on the assignment, and I can, I can click on Alex, and then it will expand her name, and then I can click to choose her assignment to view it. And because it's a Google assignment, I can add comments within the assignment as I would, within any other, close that, Google presentation, or I can add comments right here. So where it says no grade, I can add Alex's grade, and it automatically is out of 100, but that's because of this setting up here. So to address that question that came earlier, you'll notice that it has points right here. So these are my choices, or I can make it ungraded. So I'm having it set to 100 and the number of points out of 100. Again, this is in beta. I suspect that might be something that changes as they get teacher feedback about wanting to control that a little bit more. But right now, these are your choices for points. And so I'm going to add that comment, and I'm going to return this to Alex. I'm going to add a note.
I want to answer as many questions as possible. Diane asked does the grading integrate with SIS, Student Information Systems, and it does not. That I know. I don't know if that'll be released down the road, but it does not right now.
Right, and I think, Jonathan, do you know, I'm trying to remember, can you get the grades as a spreadsheet? Let me see.
Yeah, I think you can,
okay, so
you can download them.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right here. So I can download the grades as a CSV. So a lot of grading systems would allow you to do that. So that might be something that would be helpful for people.
Yep. Another question is, can parents access the classroom? And they cannot at this time. I know personally I have sent feedback to Google Classroom team members and have said I would really like it if parents could access this tool, so they're aware. At least I want it. So I don't know if they'll be adding that when it's fully released, but they can at this time.
Yeah, and I think that could get dicey because I think it's a privacy issue unless I think it's tricky because right now it's set up to work with the domain. So unless parents are issued an email in the domain,
yeah,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of dicey, but I always have my kids share their login information for Edmodo with their parents rather than create parent accounts in Edmodo. So even though you have that ability in that LMS, so maybe that would be the workaround, is to, you know, have students share their login information with parents. But
Maria's joining us from, I'm pretty sure she's from New Zealand, so thank you for coming. She wants to know if you can blind mark, turning off the students' names. I don't think you can. I don't think you can turn off the names of the students that are in your class.
no,
Yeah.
not that I've
So
seen.
you wouldn't be able to do that.
No.
There will be a recording of this, Marcus, on my YouTube channel. It's being streamed live, so I'll put the link out so you can refer back to this.
All right, so Jen, I think that was there anything else we wanted to show? I just wanted to make sure the grading was shown on this side. Is there any?
Okay, hi Nilo. Thanks for staying up and being here. Nilo's with us from Sweden. He's asking about having a continuous dialogue by default with a student through comments in the doc. The teacher sees nothing until the student turns in the work. I don't think that is true, or I think you can continuously comment until they turn it in. They can resubmit, I know that, after you've given them some feedback. Any thoughts on that, Jonathan or Jen, to go back and forth?
Yeah, I know when the student turns it in, it locks them out of the document while the teacher's grading it. So one workaround would be to have the student share a link as a comment to the document as they're working on it, and have the teacher then use Google Docs to collaborate, using that tool in progress.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say something similar. I think, there was a comment in the stream earlier about Doctopus, and for those people that use that as a way to distribute work to students, I mean, there are some advantages of using the add-on of Doctopus, and for those teachers that are used to that, that allows that kind of, ongoing, you have a link to the student's document and can look at it at any time. But I think Jonathan offers a good workaround of having students to submit the link as opposed to turn in the actual document, which Classroom sets up to turn the students' editing privileges off, which is nice in some ways, but if you're trying to provide feedback continuously, that's a good workaround.
There is a point in the workflow also when your commenting becomes suggested edits. I did see that as well. Played around with it a little bit. Greg is asking about his course name. So if he has a 8th grade math and he enters 101 in the folder in Drive, it says 8th grade math, no sections. If he has 3 sections of 8th grade math, does he need to add 8th grade math, 101, etc.? I think he's asking about if you do kind of have to think about your course names if you teach multiple sections, because on your teacher dashboard, if you have two, like I have 2 sections of digital literacy, I have 2 folders now in my Drive that say digital literacy. So I don't know which period is which. So I might have to delete those classes and then create new ones and rename them so I can distinguish between the 2 classes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's what I would have to do, because you can't see the section name of your class in Drive. You can just see the name of the class. We have about 1 minute left, so any...
One thing you can do is from the home view of either the student or the teacher, and the tiles have an icon for the folder, and that'll take you directly to the folder. So if you do get in a confusing situation like that, you can always use that as a way to get to the folder.
Yeah, I think people are just going to have to get used to starting in Classroom. If you start in Classroom, click on what you need, it's going to take you to the area of Google Drive that you need. So I think this is pretty much it. I'm going to get locked out of this building, or locked into the building, I should say. But I'm excited that we had so many viewers, and I obviously picked the right topic for the first Massachusetts GEG virtual event because there was a lot of interest. So thank you so much, Jonathan and Jen and Alexandria, for participating in this discussion, and hopefully we can continue this. I have to have at least one event every 90 days, and I have a feeling we'll be doing more than the minimum. So thank you again. I appreciate it. And let's try to enjoy the rest of the summer just a little bit. Maybe not work so much. That's impossible, right?
This isn't work. I love this stuff.
I
right,
know.
Jen?
That's the thing. People don't get it. People don't get, like, stop working.
It's fun work.
But when you love what you do, absolutely. So thank you again, Jonathan and Jen and Alexandria, and thanks for watching. Catch this on YouTube, and I'll keep everyone up to date with our next event.